We get rusty in the off season too.
It's okay. All good.
And welcome, Hoosier fans, to another episode of Doing the Work, the first show on the Back Home Network covering IU women's basketball. Today is our 119th episode, recorded on Wednesday, June 5th, 2024. And I'm your host, Kathy Amos, joined by my co-host, Jeff Marlow. And today we are joined by our very special guest, Lenee Beaumont. We usually start here with a banner moment, but we are just going to talk a little bit about our presenting sponsor, and then we're going to jump right into a conversation with Lenee. So for those of you who've been listening for a while, might remember we are sponsored by Home Field Apparel. They're the presenting sponsor of the Back Home Network, including Assembly Call and Crimson Cast. Home Field is constantly releasing new schools or updating product lines for their schools and their existing lines, so you're bound to find something for you or anyone in your life that just loves great collegiate gear. And really, they've kind of branched out even beyond collegiate gear, getting into some Indy 500, a little NFL. So you should be able to find something that you might like out there. So go to homefieldapparel.com, and if it's your first time ordering, use our promo code HOME23, and you'll get 15% off your entire first order. Again, that's homefieldapparel.com. The promo code is HOME23 for 15% off. We're one for the team.
Else I know what I'm doing here.
All right, so let me just jump right into it. I have a little introduction here. So I'm sure many of you know already Lenee Beaumont, but just as a reminder, Lenee is originally from Lisle, Illinois. Am I saying that right? Lisle?
Correct. Yep.
All right, cool. And you went to Bennett Academy, where as a senior, you averaged 19.3 points per game and 7.6 rebounds your senior year. Then last year, as a freshman at IU, you averaged 3 points per game, right around 1 rebound, a half an assist. You shot 52% field goal percentage, 25% from three, and a 70% from the line, and you averaged 10 minutes per game. So congratulations, Lenee. You made it through your first year of college. Not everybody manages to do that, even without a tough academic and athletic schedule that we're sure you had. So we really wanted to just kind of discuss how the season went, what you're thinking about in the off season, look forward to next year, and maybe some random questions if we have time.
Absolutely.
Cool. So we'll just jump in. And I think the biggest question we had that everybody wants to know about is, what was your biggest surprise as a freshman for the season for you?
Honestly, like, this could sound like kind of dumb, I guess, or whatever, but I didn't expect it to be as I wouldn't say rocky, but as hard as it was. Like, every one of my friends who are a year older than me, I always ask, like, how was your freshman year? Like, how's the transition? And everyone has similar answers, like pace of the game, physicality, stuff like that. I'm like, okay, if those are the only issues, or if those are the only things I have to worry about, then I'll be fine. And luckily I truly believe these are some of the best coaches in the country and teammates and just everyone in the program. So it made it a lot easier. But just like little things, whether it's understanding the travel schedule or like learning it's okay to take an off day, your body needs it, and stuff like that. So that was definitely probably the most surprising thing for me. And then of course, little basketball things that most high school kids don't really think about, like defensive terminology and just stuff that I've never really had to so much focus on. And so I would say that was probably the biggest surprise. That just was like, wow, okay, there's a lot more to this game than just putting the ball in the basket type of thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me too, as well.
Well, kind of follow along with that, Lenee, and you may have answered a little bit, but with all the things you'd heard from your older teammates before you came off to college, what did you feel was the biggest adjustment from high school to college for you?
I would definitely say, like, relating it to basketball was probably the physicality and pace for me. That's what most people say, but I knew going in I had to put on muscle and, continue to work with Coach Kev. And I definitely made improvements in the weight room for sure, but I still had ways to go. I still do. And that's obviously something I'm focusing on. But I would say just that, like the first few practices playing against the guys, like I never really played 5-on-5 against our guys practice squad or at home or with my high school team. So just trying to, slow my mind down, but also keep up with the pace was probably something for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Aaron on Twitter, or I guess our social media, formerly known as Twitter,
Right.
they were wanting to know, what is something that you didn't expect that ended up having a big impact, whether it was on your game, your college experience, or just something in your personal life? So not even has to be about a basketball, but something, boy, I didn't really expect that, but boy, that was an impact for me.
Yeah, I would just say for me, it was the people. Like in the recruiting process, obviously, there's a reason why I came here. Like I found a connection with the people here, but they're honestly amazing. Everyone from the managers, the practice players, obviously teammates, coaches. Like I wasn't really expecting to have as good relationships as I do with everyone. And I mean, like every single player, I mean, is a friend for life. And my coaches, all of them, not only my position coach is Coach Allie. So, I mean, I obviously have a really good relationship with her, and she's helped me in so many ways. So I wasn't really expecting to do that. And like, no matter what was going on, I knew I had a good support system around me. So that was great for sure.
And Lenee, kind of follow up with that. What was one thing that you learned from last year's seniors that stuck with you that you're going to kind of impart to kids that, come in after you?
Yeah. Well, obviously we had a great group of seniors. I just watching them work every day. Like, of course, there's a reason why I came here. Like they recruit kids who work hard. Like there's no joke about that. But, just their consistency and their discipline. And another, like I've obviously built very good relationships with both Sarah, Rel, and Mac. And they all just taught me to, not only continue to work hard, of course, but like give yourself grace. Like you're a freshman at the end of the day. Like you don't need to beat yourself up about every little thing, and just believe in yourself. And I think those were some of the biggest things that they've taught me, and I'll definitely take with me for sure.
Yeah, that's really actually a hard lesson, I think, for a lot of us, Lenee, is giving ourselves grace. I'll be very honest. I still have that problem, and I'm slightly older than you, right? So I'm in my late 40s here, and there are times where I'm like, it's okay. Just give yourself,
it's all going to work out.
Some grace. So that's a lesson we can all keep forward and keep working on. So kind of continuing along the question and theme of how you managed to survive. I understand both of your parents played college sports. How was it that they maybe helped you through your transition? And kind of a follow-up to that, then not only with helping you in your transition, were they able to come to a lot of your games as well?
Yeah. So my dad, it's a little insane, but he would make the drive for every home game and the same day. So it's like 4 hours each way. He would get out of teaching classes at the high school he works at, come to my game, talk to him after, and he'd be like, all right, I'm going home. I'm like, yeah, you're insane. Like, I don't know why. That's ridiculous. But I really do appreciate that. Obviously, it's a good enough distance where like they can make those games, and I'm really fortunate for that. But yeah, they're just constantly checking in, and obviously I have very good relationships with both of them. I rely on them. I say they keep it real for the most part, in a good way, of course. And just whether it was a text, like keep working hard, the work will show, or, keep being positive, stuff like that. Just, constant support like most parents, but I'm very grateful for them too, for sure.
And do you think their collegiate experiences, college athletes as well, do you think that maybe gave them a different twist that maybe other parents wouldn't have necessarily been able to help with?
Yeah, absolutely. My mom, because she played Division I volleyball, she has like some crazy stories of how she didn't make it through practices, or like was just making a fool of herself. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty funny. Like, I guess I'm not doing too awful, or, just put it in perspective. So for sure helps.
That's great.
And Lenee, I remember, talking with Grace Berger a couple of years ago, and she was talking about how Allie Patberg, Coach Allie for you, was that person who was the older player who kind of drug her I shouldn't say drug, but it was like, you're coming with me. And she got her in that routine of going to cook hall whenever she could. And we're basically wearing out the swipe card. Who was that person for you like last year that kind of took you under their wing, one of the older players? And then B, is there somebody that already with the incoming freshmen or the newcomers that you've tried to take under your wing?
Yeah. So I would say I had great relationships with all three that have graduated, but one in particular is probably Mac for sure. Just I see her as like a big sister in a way. Like she just constantly looking out, reaching out, reminders here and there during practice, like you're okay, like keep going, like stuff like that. And I really am grateful for that relationship that we've built over the year. And for sure with the new faces coming in, whether it's the transfers or the freshmen, that's something I've definitely tried to, work on and like take them to dinner or show them around, like, especially just being a freshman, I get how it all goes. So I get it's a huge adjustment. You're away from home. You're nervous for every workout, scared to make mistakes. So just trying to get them comfortable and understand that they've got a great support system around them.
That's great.
Yeah.
So Jeff mentioned, Grace adjusting to how much time was spent in the gym. And Sam, one of our listeners who wrote to us on Substack, he was very interested in that. And he would like to know, how many hours do you think on average did you spend in the gym during the season? And maybe fast forwarding to the off season now, how has that changed?
Okay. So I mean, we spend a lot of time there, just mandatory wise, like practice and all that. But I'm almost in the gym like too much to like a fault, like where they have to be like, hey, go home. Like it's time for you to go home.
Yeah.
Allie tells me all the time, like, you're not coming back today. Like it's time for you to go take a break. And I appreciate it because you do need a balance for sure. That's something I've learned this year. And I would say during the week, depending on our travel days off, anywhere from like 25 hours to 30 a week.
And that probably includes the mandatory practice time too, right?
Correct. Yeah. It's honestly probably more than that because we all stick around, shoot after, before, but I would say that's the most of the mandatory time. And then in off season, it's a lot lighter. Of course, right now we're only mandatory wise, it's an hour in the morning and then 45 minutes in the afternoon. So a lot lighter, but again, in between I'm working with Kevin on agility stuff or getting extra shots up with Allie. So we all end up living at Cook throughout the summer anyway. So it doesn't really change, but.
So Lenee, I'll follow up with that a little bit. Kind of explain maybe for our listeners, when you say you're basically allowed an hour and 45 a day mandatory, are the coaches allowed to be there during that time? Or B, how does that get run if they're not there? Do you just pick up teams and play, or do you guys work on skill work? What do you do?
So in the morning, we go 4 days a week in the morning. We have Wednesdays off. 7 to 8 is strength and conditioning with Coach Kev. And the coaches don't have to be there, but everyone there, managers, everyone's there at 7 a.m. ready to work. So that's awesome. I mean, not a lot of programs, I'm sure, have every staff member show up, but they're all cheering us on as we're sprinting up and down the football field. So we have that in the morning. And then in the afternoon, our 45 minutes is split up in groups with guards, wings, posts. And then that's strictly like skill work. Like we don't really play too much, more just focus on different skills that, you might have not have touched on throughout the year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you mentioned Mackenzie a couple of times.
Yeah.
So this is more of a fast forward look into your crystal ball.
Okay.
How do you think the locker room might be different now without her leadership?
Yeah, of course. I mean, she's a fantastic leader, as everyone can see that on the court, off the court. It's going to be an adjustment. Like people are going to have to take bigger roles in that sense, but there's no doubt that our upperclassmen that we have now are going to do a fantastic job because, I mean, with Sid, with Chloe, the returners that we have, I mean, they know how the ropes are run around here. So they're going to figure it out. And they've already been leaders the past year too. So it's not like we only had, one leader, but we'll be in good hands for sure. I'm not worried, but now it's nice to have a year under my belt too. And even if I'm not saying too much or whatever, like helping out the new people, helping them understand different things and stuff like that. So.
Do you see anyone in particular that might fill that vocal role that Mac, we understand she was pretty vocal both in the locker room and on the court. Do you see anyone in particular stepping in to fill some of that void? Or do you think it'll be more of a leadership by committee type of a thing?
I think it will definitely be by committee in some ways. I think like especially the returners are everyone, they have another year under their belt, so they're more comfortable. But Chloe and Sid, I would say more of a vocal part. I mean, they did a lot of that last year as well, just, backing up Mac or speaking up about something as well. So there's no doubt they'll continue to do that.
And Lenee, this comes from sarcastic Mike, who was in our Workaholics. You might have seen this in the chat here a little bit.
Okay.
Given the fact that half the Western Burbs were in Evanston for the Northwestern game, how nervous were you? And did the cheering section not affect you too much?
I really try not to think about it because, I mean, there's already a million things on my mind, like the scout and, what I have to do for that game and stuff like that. It was awesome to see, though, no doubt. I wasn't really expecting that many people to be there, but it was for sure pretty cool. Just like even little girls that I'm not really aware of or know who they are, just coming and be like, oh my gosh, can we take a picture? Like that's always full circle moment for sure.
Yeah, that's great. So kind of along that same vein, is there one game or moment from the season that stuck out for you personally?
Okay. Let's see. There's definitely a couple I could probably pick out, but I want to say it's the Stanford game. Unfortunately, I hate bringing that game up, but coach put me, or they subbed me in or whatever, and coach pulled me to the side and she's like, all right, Bo, I need you to not be a freshman right now. Like, I just need you to go out there and, play. And I was just kind of a moment okay, all right, it's time to, mature, grow up a little bit. Yes, I'm a freshman, but it gave me confidence as well because she wouldn't say that if she didn't believe I could take a step forward or grow from that opportunity. So definitely moments like that where I'm just okay, just take your deep breath. It's all gonna be okay. But yeah.
And I'll kind of follow that, Lenee, with obviously Simon Scott Assembly Hall is your favorite arena, but what away gym was your favorite to play
in? That's tough. Probably Purdue, just because of the environment. I kind of like the hostile environment and the competitiveness. So that was awesome for sure.
Yeah. Did it take long for you to understand the rivalry?
No, not at all. Not at all. A lot of my close family are Purdue fans, diehard Purdue fans. So I was pretty aware of the rivalry before all that. Yeah.
So that might have made it even more sweet than with the 2 victories over them as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So, okay. So we know the Big Ten has always been tough, but now we have 4 more teams joining the league this year, including 2 teams that are preseason top 5 with USC and UCLA. Is this something that you as a program and a team have been discussing already and about the new opponents, or are you not focusing on any of that just yet? Or what are your thoughts maybe personally too?
Yeah, we're all definitely aware of everyone in our conference and what big time portal kids joined which powerhouse programs and stuff like that. We haven't spoken too much about it. We know it's going to be a dogfight, a lot of those games, but that's what all of us love anyways. Those are the games we look forward to. And even though we haven't spoken about it, I'm sure we all have them circled on our calendar, ready to go. So we're pretty excited, I'm assuming, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of my last question for the season, Lenee, and then we'll kind of maybe come back into the off season and kind of keep looking forward to the future as well. But kind of one that from Fanatical Hoosier and Marshall Dragoo, who is in our Workaholics as well. And kind of the same question. How is your spin move so tough? And A, the one for Marshall was B here, that you remember the spin cycle shot versus Maryland.
Yes, I do remember the spin cycle shot from Maryland because I don't even know. I think I closed my eyes. I'm not gonna lie. I just was all right, I think I'm gonna go. And even Mac, I think she was standing right there, and she's like, "Bo, I don't know. You just moved. You spin so fast." I was like, "Yeah, I closed my eyes. I don't really know what happened, but I don't know. It's just something I continuously worked on over the years and kind of a go-to in transition specifically." Yep. So,
nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we loved that. I think everyone probably that was a highlight for you. Hopefully that goes on your highlight reel for the year.
Thank you.
So yeah, no, focusing maybe a little bit on the off season. What is the top skill on the basketball court to focus that you are focusing on personally during the off season to try and improve?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you could get better in every aspect. I'm kind of a perfectionist in that way, so I feel like there's a lot to work on, even if that might not be the case or whatever. But spending a lot of time with Kev is one thing for sure, whether it's doing extra agility or plyometric stuff, being more explosive, getting better balance with that type of stuff. Basketball wise, Allie and I have spent a lot of time just fixing a little minor mechanic stuff with my shot, just, getting that down, repping it out every single day. Uh, Again, just playing with pace, decision making, just about everything, like trying to sharpen everything, of course. But I think my biggest thing for me will just be, grow with my confidence. As a freshman, you're scared, you don't want to mess up. That's the last thing you want to do. So I think I just need to grow. My biggest thing will be just wanting to grow with my mentality and just be more comfortable with everything. So.
Yeah. Lenee, I want to ask you about Allie there because you've mentioned her a couple times,
yeah,
and obviously you have a great relationship with her. But she was given a lot of credit for really helping Lexi Bargesser's shot in the middle of the season.
Yes.
And you were talking about working mechanics. So has Allie, Coach Patberg, really kind of become the shot doctor, shot guru of the staff?
I
mean, that's a serious question. I mean, that's a serious question because every coach has their role.
Yeah. Right. I'm not sure. I guess you could call. I mean, she knows what she's talking about, so you could call her that for sure. I think it's me and Lexi are both her position players, so that also, But after the season, I was like, Allie, there's just a few things I'm not really just doesn't feel right, blah blah blah. And she was like, yeah, I noticed this. Was able to break it down, and it all made sense. And I was just like, wow, I mean, she's incredible with everything, like her knowledge of the game and just being able to relate. I can't say enough good things about her. So,
yeah,
that's great. Yeah,
that's great. So this is maybe a different spin on a question. So, maybe you weren't aware of this streak, but IU has actually been in the top 25 rankings now for 5 straight years. So really, we know this because it's been an entire time since Mackenzie stepped on campus since then, never dropped out of them.
Right.
Currently, not that we care a lot about preseason rankings in June, we don't have Indiana in that ranking, right? So how much does the team even pay attention to that kind of stuff? And what is the motivation for the team? Let's say that the season actually starts and you're not in that top 25. Right. Does that help motivate you as a team to get back in there? Or is it not something that you really take into account or care about or watch at all?
Right. Of course, you don't want to try to worry about all that. But if you were to ask all of us, we're very well aware. It's just fuel to the fire, honestly. We haven't really mentioned it as a group, but I have a feeling it will come up in some, hype speech, whatever it is, and it's going to just fire us up. Of course, we believe we, could compete with the best, and I think we're really excited about it. It'll be great to, hopefully surprise a lot of people and, get up there for sure.
Yeah.
Just kind of a little bit off the court, Lenee. We saw that you're majoring in business. Are you in the Kelly School of Business? And if you are, how's that going? Or if you haven't gotten into it, is that what your goal is? What would you like to do with your degree post basketball?
So I have been in the Kelly School of Business this past year, and I'm not sure if I'm going to stay in it. Great education, obviously, it's amazing, but it's so hard to balance it. It's obviously very rigorous, and I clearly care a lot about, basketball. So being able to do both at 100%, just, it's not too realistic. And I would be very upset if I have to, not get an extra workout in because I have to study. I know that sounds a little insane, but yeah, so we'll have to see going forward, but that's where I am right now.
Yep. No, I think that's completely fair. I went to the Kelly School of Business as well. I was actually the first class, right, that graduated under the name.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I get it. It was hard back then. I can't imagine that they've made it any easier.
No, I doubt it.
25 years since I graduated. So
yeah,
that's great. Well, congratulations on that, though. Regardless, it's still a great accomplishment, even to be accepted. So
yes,
again, it's that give yourself grace and know your balance, right?
Yeah.
So, let's see. So, Is there any player in particular that you model your game after? That was from Ted on Twitter. He wanted to
Yeah,
know
I
that.
saw that question. I was
Yeah.
thinking about it, and I don't think there's any specific player that I really try to model my game after. Luckily, I know they said it doesn't have to be IU, but there's been so many great players through IU that we're very fortunate that I'm able to watch film of Grace Berger, Allie, even like other players. I mean, I had great players on my team this year that I took a lot of things from as well. So that's been very helpful early on. Allie would sit down and we would watch film of Grace, just making ball screen reads and that type of stuff. And so I wouldn't really say I'm out on my game after anyone, but definitely trying to learn whatever I can from the great people above me. So
that's great.
And Lenee, I saw that you had the opportunity. Was it the first time maybe you met her? But I saw the picture of you and Tyra Buss. Was that the first time you'd be able to meet her, or was that somebody you knew about when you were playing high school ball in Illinois?
Yeah, that's definitely someone I knew about. I knew how she could get a lot of buckets, that's for sure. But I had no idea she was even in Bloomington. I was just going up to the offices and she was there, and Coach Rhett was like, "We're getting a picture." So I was like, "Okay, sounds good." But
that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, let me follow that up with this. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask that question about Tyra, but I really want to get to, besides basketball, we talked a lot about basketball, and you've talked about, and love hearing you talk about your dedication and work ethic, but what else are you doing with your summer?
Yeah. Honestly, outside of the gym, we are such a close group already that I'm hanging out with my teammates. I mean, last night we watched a movie together. Like, we are very close, which is great, and it's no surprise, but either hanging out with friends or our teammates, or Jules and I are living together right now. We've been trying to learn how to cook some things here and there, but after living in the dorm for a year, we're a little rusty. So just, enjoying Bloomington. So
yeah, that's great. So gosh, I have a lot of follow-up questions. Have you mastered a dish, and you haven't burned your apartment down yet? So that's a good success. But is there a dish that you've mastered in particular that you're like, you know what, Jules, that's the one we're going to go back to tonight. We really can kill it.
So I wish I could say we have, but I'm a horrific cook. I've burnt rice. I really can't cook. It's a learning process. So now we're doing like the self salad kits, like everything's like super 1-2 easy step. We have a lot of work to do. So
that's okay. That's how
HelloFresh was invented for you guys.
That's right. Literally, we've already
HelloFresh is amazing.
A brand about it, like, please help us.
So along that line, this was one of the questions we had was, what's your favorite Bloomington restaurant?
Yep.
Okay. Last year I said Buffalo Louie's, and it's Buffalo Louie's. I had no idea. And I said Qdoba. Like, that's not very original, but so now it's Da Vinci, without a doubt. I love Da Vinci. So
that's Italian, right? Because I haven't been there, and it wasn't around when I lived there, so I don't think any.
Yeah, huge fan for sure.
That's great. So what is kind of a day in the life for you right now in the summer? So we know you get up and you have practice at 7.
Right.
We know you're doing some stuff with your other teammates, watching movies and whatnot. Are you going to classes right now? What other kind of interests do you have outside of basketball, and then outside of school too, for that matter?
Yeah. After morning workouts, this past week we had camp, but in between that, usually schoolwork. I'm in one online class now, and then I'll have another one starting in about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. So we have that. And then after our basketball workouts in the afternoon, I mean, after all that, we go home. I do like to golf. That is something I'm trying to get better at, but go to the range or something like that, whether if it's with teammates or whoever. But yeah, watch movies, really nothing too crazy, just trying to, I'm either in the gym or I'm with a teammate. So, yeah,
that's great.
It's Chloe's birthday. Hopefully everybody knows. We want to shout out to Chloe. That was her birthday today. But anyway, sorry, Lenee. I was thinking about, somebody had asked about, did you give Chloe a birthday gift? I'll give you a chance to answer that real quick, since that's what got me thinking about Chloe.
I haven't gotten her one yet, but it's definitely in the works. So no need to worry about that. Yeah.
No, Lenee, my question really was and we're up against our time a little bit, so hopefully you can stay with us for a couple extra minutes.
Yeah.
Talking about recruiting, and now from when you went through it as a high school player to now you're on the other side of it. You're one of the host kids. Is it different for a high school, I hate to say you treat it different, but is it different for a high school kid coming in, like when a Faith Wiseman or a Sydney Finn was coming in to see you guys, like last year after they committed, or I believe it's Caffey from St. Louis that's already committed for 25. Is it different with them than would have been for somebody like Shay or Carolyn that was coming in as a transfer?
Oh, I'm sure. Shay, I talked to a lot through the whole recruiting process because, I mean, being a transfer kid who's already been in college basketball, like you've seen it all now. Like you're not blindsided. You're not this little naive, like high schooler, you know what to believe and what to expect. So, yeah, I mean, Shay asked like a lot of obviously mature questions that like I don't think a typical high schooler would ask just because they don't know what to expect. And again, with high schoolers, like they're just trying to find the best fit, and which makes complete sense. And then because you have so much knowledge and so much experience as a transfer kid, like you're pinpointing your questions more and trying to find specifically what you're looking for, like what you want. So I definitely think there's a difference for sure.
And do you think like what the coaching staff or the players did with them were any different? Like when they took their official or unofficial visits, do you think that day on campus was different as a transfer than as a incoming high school recruit would have?
I wouldn't say it was too different. It was a pretty similar schedule, and I mean, you know how selective they are with recruiting. Yeah. So if you're there, like they really want you. Like if you're on campus, you're top priority. I would just say with the transfers, it's more intentional. Like whatever your major is, we're gonna go speak with those people, type of thing. So
sure,
yeah,
awesome. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You need a run? We
no, said I really am in no rush. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we have just a couple more here. Just looking again towards next year, do you have any bold predictions that you want to make for next year or this coming season? Whether it's one about you, one about the team, any prediction at all on what you think might happen this season that maybe people might not be expecting?
I don't know. I would just say I really do think we'll surprise people. Like as much as you try not to think about it not being in the mock 25 or whatever it is. I think we have great new fits, new additions to the team already, like just personality, basketball wise, whatever it may be. And I'm super excited. I know we're all super excited for the year to come. So I think it'll just be a really fun year, and we'll have, hopefully surprise a lot of people. So
yeah.
This one actually came from a couple different people as well, Lenee. First of all, just how comfortable have you been able to get? Obviously, as a freshman, I'd like to think pretty comfortable, but how long did it take you to feel comfortable with Coach Terry Morin's offense, and especially her defensive system? Because she's going to preach defense. That's what she hangs her hat on.
Right.
And now do you find it, are you able to in a position at least to help some of the newer kids coming in? Like we saw pictures yesterday or earlier today.
Yeah.
Some of the newcomers are on campus already. Are you able to give them advice? Are you able to say, no, here's what she's looking for, already?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I've spent a lot of time with a lot of the newcomers in the gym. Shay and I, because we're both guards, we get a lot of shots up together, just spending a lot of time. But even simple things like terminology, it's different wherever you go. And certain things that we refer to as, clock ups, clock downs, some of our terminology, but just trying to help them and get a step forward, because it's definitely something like, it was so different for me when I came. It probably took me a couple of weeks to even understand what was being said. So, and then defensively, I mean, I'm still trying to figure that out too. I get it, but that was a huge adjustment for me, and I'll, of course, help them too, because there's a lot of terminology that goes with that, but for sure feel a lot more comfortable year two. So
good. So Jeff and Lenee, I thought maybe we could wrap things up here with just maybe some rapid fire fun questions, not basketball related.
All right.
So Jeff, jump into if the one comes to the top of your head. So this one is actually from Fanatical Hoosier. Who on the team, and it can be you, has the best and the worst music taste?
Okay. Best music taste, actually, recently, I would say Shay. We always use her playlist because we have very similar music, so maybe that's why I think it's the best. But
sure,
we like.
And what kind of music is it?
Like Ghana and Lil Baby. When we're working out, it's the right stuff. Yeah. Did you say worst music taste?
And worse, yes. Yeah. I know you want to be real careful with that one.
I know I've got to be careful.
This is where you throw out one of the seniors from last year.
Yeah, I'm about to say Jules just because. I don't know. I don't think there is a horrible person, music playlist that we have. I guess.
Who was the best opponent you saw last year, Lenee, besides Caitlin Clark?
Okay. Probably Kiki from Stanford and Brink, like that duo. I would have to say, obviously, you know who Brink is, and but I personally didn't know too much about Kiki, and I just thought she was a beast. I mean, watching her throughout the year too, for sure, yeah.
So this is probably another softball from Fanatical Hoosier. Who wins a 3-point shooting contest, Caitlin Clark or Sarah Scalia?
I'm putting my money on Sarah every day. I've never seen anyone better. It's actually ridiculous. It's amazing, but
I asked you earlier about we asked you about the best, where you liked playing on the road the best. What was your favorite game from last year?
Favorite game,
right?
Home or away?
Home or away. Okay. There's a lot of fun moments for sure. I feel like, I don't know why, I really liked the Purdue game at our place for so many reasons. Obviously, I was so happy for Mac. I mean, that was an incredible moment when she, leading scorer and all that. And it was a fun environment. I could say a lot. Yeah.
I would think the Iowa home game in particular probably.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right up there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was great. Okay, so we talked about your favorite restaurant. What about your favorite and your least favorite class that you've had so far?
Favorite class, probably business presentations. I didn't think I would like it, but I actually enjoyed presenting and all that. And then least favorite class is definitely the one I'm in now, music culture. It's just
music culture.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan. We're just surviving, but it'll be okay.
Yep.
So
that's great.
Yeah.
Hey, for those of you who are listeners who have not seen this, the basketball program put out a little quick video of the different players doing movie lines after they stuck helium. And Jules and Lenee, I think, were the first two who did. And Jules or Lenee, I really enjoyed you and Jules on that. So my question here for you: favorite basketball movie, favorite non-basketball movie?
Okay, obviously Hoosiers. I would be wrong if I didn't say otherwise.
Mandatory,
and you said favorite non-basketball movie?
Yeah.
I would probably say I love true crime, but I would say other than that, I love the Hunger Games series. I would have to say, yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the new one already?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
It made a lot of sense for me. I still think the old ones are way better, but it connected a lot of dots. So
yeah, that's how I was too. I really enjoyed it, but it was not the same as the first one. So.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so last one I have, at least coming to the top of my head right now. Is there a favorite place on campus that you like to go just to be alone and maybe read or take a nap or study or whatever you need to do, where you just need some alone time, but you're on campus?
Yeah. Well, I would say Inkwell. I know that's a food place, but like if I need to do homework, I'm going there. Or I'll go to the Union a lot. I like upstairs. They have like the nice study areas, but also a lot of us will oftentimes go to, is it Griffey Lake? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Griffey? So. Yeah. It's just so pretty, especially in the summer, the sunset. We'll go there a lot. Just it's peaceful. So yeah.
Jeff?
I don't have any questions. I got an incoming freshman at IU this fall. So what dorm were you in last year?
Oh, I was in Disco Briscoe. So
Disco Briscoe.
Yeah, I was there. So
that's great.
Well, that's my last question, though.
That's your last one. All right. We'll end on a fun note and a plug again from Fanatical Hoosier, who is listening along and chatting. He would like to make sure that you have some more TikToks for them this year. So
okay, I told Jules we need to do better. We need to get back on it. So don't worry. Well, that's in the works.
Awesome. Well, good. Well, Lenee, we really love having you on. I'm glad we were able to get you back and kind of do a season recap. Look forward to next year, get to know you a little bit more. But are there anything that you in particular want to tell to our listeners? And we know, women's basketball in general has gotten a huge spotlight here in the last couple of months, especially national. That national narrative is not always accurate or fun or whatever to listen to, and maybe you ignore it, maybe you don't, maybe you want to talk about that, or maybe you don't and you just want to tell everyone what kind of food you should try cooking next.
I really don't have too much to say, but one thing I would say that really blew me away was this year was just like, I mean, everyone talks about how great of a fan base we have here, and I mean, every game I walked into, I was just like, this isn't real. Like, how many people are here? It's 90 minutes before the game and I'm doing my warm up and like the whole lower stands is already packed. So we obviously appreciate all of our fans. And I mean, that's a great part. You guys make the game so much more exciting, and whoever's listening. So thank you.
Yeah. That, I think that's a great point. Like my husband and I don't live in Indiana. But we traveled down to Fort Myers and saw you guys there, and came over to Lincoln. And hopefully you're seeing a lot of that now as well, where you're not just getting that love and support in person in Bloomington, but you're getting, pockets of people traveling around as well. So
for sure.
Great. Loving seeing that. Jeff, any last thoughts from you that you want to kind of wrap us up with?
No, just really, Lenee, just so enjoyable to talk with you. You're so well-spoken. And so a credit not only to the program and yourself, but to your parents and everybody that's helped with your upbringing. But you're just a great person to have on the podcast.
I really
hope to have you back in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Congratulations, Lenee. That freshman year is not easy for anyone. And you have the extra stress of being, a public figure really in the spotlight and having the extra work of not just being in a hard Kelly school business, but also doing that basketball thing. And I thought you handled it admirably. So congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Jeff, you want to take us out, and then I'll wrap us up here with some what's up next.
Yep. Hey, Kathy, real quick before you wrap it up, I just want to put out there, because we didn't really do a lot of news, but I thought this was important. Sarah Scalia is doing a shooting clinic here on like the 23rd in Bloomington at the rec center. So that's like $75. There's some information online about that if you want to be interested in that. It's like 60 spots are available. So, but Sarah is putting on a shooting clinic, elite shooting clinic as it's billed there in Bloomington here this month for anybody that's interested in that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we should definitely plug that for her. So, and then speaking of plugs for us on doing the work here, Jeff and I will return again in 2 weeks on Wednesday, June 19th. Right now, we are planning on Austin Rinder, the voice of the Lady Hoosiers, coming on with us then. Austin will be joining us at our normal time at 8 Eastern and 7 Central. Again, keep an eye out on Twitter and Substack, and subscribe to our YouTube channel just in case anything changes. But that is the current plan for us in 2 weeks. And if you do want to see us do the show live and be part of that live chat, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@BackHomeNetwork. You can also be part of our private community. You can find out more about that at assemblycall.substack.com. A special thanks to John Ringer of Riggs Design, who designed our logos that you can see. And a big thank you to Bob Thompson for the music that you heard throughout the broadcast. But most of all, thanks to Lenee for coming on with us again this evening. Really appreciate it. Thanks to all of you that are listening live or after the fact. We really appreciate all of you as well. And we'll be back to talk with you again on June 19th. But until then, keep your elbow in, your eyes on the rim, and let's go Hoosiers. Good deal.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Lenee.
Of course. Of course. Absolutely.
Love talking with you.
Yes.
Good. All right. So what's on the docket for you the rest of the evening? Anything fun and exciting, or you're just chilling for the night?
Honestly, I'm probably going to go to bed pretty soon. We have to get up at like 6 for strength and conditioning. So full day tomorrow. But
so like when you were talking about camp, and I didn't want to ask this, and I don't want to keep you too much longer tonight, but
no, you're good.
like when Coach Morin has camp, was it skills camp, like an individual skill camp, or was it team camp? What's your guys' role for her at camp?
Yeah, this past week was little kids camp. So we'll run drills and then we'll coach a team. And I was fortunate to have a very talented and competitive team, but it like got out of hand. I was like, Coach, I don't know how to tell them to calm down. Like they're yelling at the refs. I was like, guys, we need to. But it was awesome. I love my Comets. That's who we were. So they killed it. But and then I think this weekend we'll have team camp. So we'll be doing like scoreboard and stats and all of that. But
gotcha.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So. Cool.
Right.
Yeah. Well, great, Lenee, and hopefully we'll be able to get you back on here again sometime in the future. You have such a nice insight to what it's like to be a player, and really appreciate your thoughtfulness and very well spoken. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys have a good one.
You too, Lenee.
Bye.
What a great kid. Yeah,
absolutely.
Great young lady, I should call her.
Yes.
But so anyway, Kathy, awesome. That was a great, that as we said a couple times, she was just so well spoken, but she really is the kind of player that Coach Morin has gone out and found to help build the program.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I would think, if we were able to talk more with the players, we'd find a lot more of great personalities like that, and very intelligent, well spoken. Just seems very down to earth too. So, I think we'll see some big things from her this coming year too. That's my prediction about Lenee. I think she's going to really step up. I expect a sophomore jump for her.
I do too. So, hey, enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too. Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.